This episode of Heavy Cardboard is brought to you from the great folks over at GameSurplus.com, bringing the world of board games to you. Now, on to the show. Heavy Cardboard, episode 112, Heavy Cardboard Game Day Around the World. Coming to you from Origins Game Fair, welcome to Heavy Cardboard, where we talk medium and heavy strategy board games, war games, 18xx. In this episode, other related topics and the board gaming hobby. We're your hosts. I'm Edward.
And I'm Amanda.
It's amazing what a little sleep will do for you.
You know,
huh?
It really is, because you sound alive this week, not dead, like last week.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, surprisingly, I only have about, 5 hours sleep or so after 20 hours of travel coming into Columbus. I actually got to sleep just after 2 a.m. this morning. It's now Wednesday morning. We're recording this. And first day, or day zero of Origins, really. It's setup day. So glad to be here ahead of everything.
Oh, yes.
And surprisingly, at least at this point, not jet lagged, which shocks me because I always get jet lag coming back to the States instead of going over to Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am the opposite, which is weird, but hopefully like coming in to immediately to a convention will help you like with adrenaline and stuff and help you be able to not be absolutely exhausted.
Sign me up. I'm all
I
for
hope
it.
so
yes.
for you.
One other nice thing about being at Origins here early Wednesday morning, getting set up and, being at the hotel and everything and actually unpacked, which for anybody that travels a lot for business, I think they'll appreciate this. I'm kind of tired of living out of a suitcase. Not going to lie.
I bet.
So being able to hang stuff up and put stuff into a drawer.
I bet that felt really good.
It really did, even though it was like 1 a.m. last night. I was like, you know what? Gonna do this. And part of it was, honestly, hoping some of the wrinkles fall out so I don't have to iron.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's probably not going to happen, but maybe if you hang it in the bathroom as you shower, that might help.
There you go, steam, right?
Yep.
And also on that note, because I've been on the road for a number of weeks, I need a haircut pretty bad. So I think before I head over to Origins for setup day and all that stuff, I think I'm going to get cleaned up a little as far as the haircut, because I feel like I look my age.
Well, I have to say, I'm in favor of this. Just saying.
So, yeah, going to get the beard and mustache and everything trimmed up, but also the haircut. So there's a whole lot less gray. Well, the gray's still there. You just can't see it because it's a whole lot shorter.
Exactly.
There you go. Right?
Yeah, that's why I have my hair lady cut my hair so close, because then you can't see all of the gray that's in there.
So turned 43 last week.
Yes, you did.
Old man. Yeah, 43.
Whatever.
There's an unremarkable year, right?
I know.
Who cares about 43?
You're no longer the answer to the life, the universe, and everything. You're no longer 42.
Life moves on, I guess.
I guess.
Something like that.
Until I'm 42, then I will be the answer to everything.
There you go, right? Or, well, a lot of people would already say you already are.
Whatever.
So there's that.
Whatever.
So Origin starts. I don't know that there's a ton of stuff that I'm super excited, looking forward to. In all honesty, it's just more or less just kind of going around, walking around, and meeting folks. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the big thing. If anybody's heading to Origins and is hearing this on Thursday, bad news. We have one challenge coin left, and probably by the time you hear this, we have no challenge coins left.
We have none at the house. You have none. So we're going to have to place another order for those.
Yep. So we went through 300 of them. Well, 299 298 because we have the two, one for you, one for me.
Right.
But yeah, that's a good problem to have, right?
Absolutely.
I didn't expect to go through that many.
No, like this fast. Especially this fast. It was because I was like, oh, we've got some orders. Okay, let me fill them. Wait. We don't have any challenge coins.
So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
we're running low on T-shirts. At least the stuff that I brought with me. Brought a bunch of medium, large, and extra larges.
The house, everything on the website is fully inventoried to what I have on hand at the house. So if it shows that there's something in stock, that means I have it. If you're placing an order now, if you're going to Origins, go talk to Edward and ask him. He'll be at the Capstone booth. But if you're placing an order on the website and it shows that it's in stock, I have it and I will get it out to you.
Cool. And doing a great job with the orders and all that. And apparently we're on to the second set of orders for the Aegis theme maps as well.
We are. I have talked to Kevin, and I'm waiting for an email back to hear from him about whether he wants to just like give me the file to have them printed here, because that's a lot of weight and big to ship. So I don't know how he's going to want to do that. But
or he could ship stuff.
Yeah, he could, but a lot of people are placing orders for maps with
additional stuff,
with merchandise too.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work. But we'll figure it out.
It was a good idea.
Yeah,
so
we'll
there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so as far as Origins in general, though, just looking forward to seeing folks, meeting a whole lot of new listeners and viewers and patrons, and I know Capstone has Carthago officially coming out here at Origins, and there's a couple hundred games on the BGG anticipation geek list, if you will, for Origins or whatever. A lot of it is but there is some stuff, so there's that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully maybe you can do like a recap in the daily diary and talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the daily diaries, and this is going to be really, really important for folks, that we, as of the time you're hearing this, because that will be the release for the daily diary of episode 0 of Origins, we're starting a second RSS feed, so a second Heavy Cardboard podcast feed. And do you want to explain it, or should I?
I can. So what it is the website, the service that we use right now, we use Squarespace, and their RSS feed has a limit of 100. No matter what it is, no matter what podcast, no matter anything, it's the hard stop at 100. So if you have more than 100 episodes of anything, you don't see it like on iTunes or anything. So we set it up on some of our small council, set up the website on another service so that we can have an RSS feed that will have all of the episodes. But what we've decided to do is have one RSS feed for the main Heavy Cardboard content, meaning episodes, and then have another separate RSS feed for supplemental things like daily diaries or first looks or things like that, to where if you don't want to listen to the first looks or you don't want to listen to the daily diaries, you only want to listen to the episodes, you have that option. So we heard a lot from you guys that's what you guys wanted. So we have taken the steps to make sure that we can give that to you.
Yep. So you're going to have essentially really kind of 3 RSS feeds. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's going to be one that is the main episodes, which is the every Thursday release. That's going to be the RSS feed that you normally get. So that's all that's going to be on that RSS feed, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
All right. So the second one is going to be all the supplemental stuff, daily diaries, weekly look aheads, the first looks, everything that isn't a weekly episode is going to be on a secondary one. And Amanda, you're going to be able to link to that in the show notes for this.
I am. Mm-hmm.
And we're going to post it in Slack, on Twitter, Facebook,
everywhere.
Instagram, all that stuff. The third one, which probably is not ready right now, but is going to be coming soon, as Amanda said, we have an actual limit of only 100 items per feed. So we're going to have an archive for all the older episodes. Because if you notice, this week is episode 112. Well, that's more than 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to backfill the archive RSS feed so that if you want all the older stuff as on a roll, from it'll be episode 1 to 100 on one feed. Then as we get to the next one, so there'll be archives, that type thing. But that's probably going to be a little bit down the road, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up of what's coming.
Yes. So things are good stuff coming down the pike when it comes to being able to listen from episode 1 on, because I know a lot of people like to do that. I personally, whenever I first start listening to a podcast, I like to listen to the very beginning on and listen to how, the audio's improved and how much better the people have gotten comfortable in front of the microphone and stuff like that. That's always so interesting to me. So I completely understand that people want to be able to listen from episode 1 on. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done for you guys soon. But in the meantime, we will be able to at least separate those things out so that y'all don't have to listen to stuff you don't want to listen to.
Yep. And so, but for those that do want to listen to the other stuff, you're going to have to subscribe to the Heavy Cardboard supplemental feed.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So just make note of that. So if you're looking for the daily diaries going forward, you're going to have to go get that. Cool.
That's
cool.
right. So you did talk about your 20 hours of travel. So that meant you came back to America yesterday from Copenhagen, which you drove there from Sweden yesterday, yeah?
Yeah. So I feel like I ought to give a bit of a recap of the travel and what all I've been doing.
I would like for you to, yes, because it seems like I'm the only one on Heavy Cardboard doing stuff, and that is not at all the case. So you need to fill people in on what you've been doing.
So yeah, I realized that if you look at social media, it seems like it's just big long European vacation, but there's a fair bit of work going on behind the scenes. So yeah, let me clue folks in. So the Tuesday after HeavyCon, flew to London in the UK and stayed with Richard Klein at his house, and then took off and went to meet Francis Tresham, and took him and his lovely wife Eileen to lunch, and where I recorded both audio and video of Francis Tresham interview. That was a bit like herding cats. So I'm nervous about that, but neither here nor there. The interview got done, so I was very, very excited about that. Then after that, we headed to the UK Games Expo for 3 days, and I gotta say that was a whole lot bigger than I expected. That was what we were told was Origin size, so that seemed pretty apropos. And while there, recorded a live podcast with Paul Grogan, Tom Heath from Slicker Drips, and Matt, I apologize, Matt, can't think of his last name, from Creaking Shelves. So it was the 4 of us, went on after Shut Up and Sit Down. Note to self, don't ever do that again. But we actually had a queue. We had a line of folks wanting to get in to get in for the live podcast recording.
That's
and I
awesome.
was legitimately worried that like 4 people show up. And no, people took the time and hung out and asked some good questions and had a pretty good session. So we're going to get the audio and video from that from the folks over at the UK Games Expo, and that'll be uploaded as an episode as well as over on YouTube down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Also, while there, I hung out and talked to Paul from Shut Up and Sit Down, as well as Efka from No Pun Included. We kind of hung out and just shot the breeze a little bit, but also talking about shucks, and then hung out with the Shut Up and Sit Down guys. Finally got to meet Quinns and Matt, and oh my God, they're as hilarious in person as they are on their show.
And speaking about in person, does Quinns look as much like Alton Brown in person as he does in pictures?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I totally get that. And Quinns is a lot taller than I expected. He's taller than I am.
Wow.
I did not expect that.
That's tall.
The guys were pretty run down a little bit, but holding up and trying to make plans to actually hang out when it's not a convention, so that we can actually just hang out as friends and just whatever down the road. So looking forward to that. But that was the UK Games Expo. So got 3 interviews done while I was there. I got obviously Francis Tresham. Got a full-length interview, video, and audio with Simon Cutforth, designer of the Golden Elephant Award-winning 1822. And also got a long-form interview, finally, with Martin Wallace. Now, I've interviewed Martin before, but they were the quote-unquote con interviews. And this one I wanted to do, they budgeted me like 15 minutes. And I said, thanks, fellas, but no. I said, either I'm going to do a long-form interview with Martin or I'm not going to do one.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, yeah, sure.
Good.
So even though folks tied one on the night before, we we were able to sit down and have a really, what I thought, really insightful interview. It wasn't as long as I wanted it to be. Honestly, it could have gone another hour because I had a ton more questions, both from listeners and viewers, but also just from myself. But the way things played out, that I only had about 45, 50 minutes, so there's that. Anyway, the bad news, part of it got cut off due to technical issues as far as video. So I don't know if we're going to have the video up for that or if it's just going to be all audio.
Okay.
So there's that. But nonetheless, there's the full-length interview with Martin Wallace. I also, like I said, got the small one with Paul and Efka, as well as the stuff with Grogan and company from the live podcast recording. So from there, we flew to Copenhagen and rented a car, which, note to self, don't ever do that again. There's no need to rent a car in Copenhagen. It is the most bike-friendly city I've ever been in my life. They have rental bikes everywhere to where you can rent them, and they're kind of electric powered as well. And it's, to date, the greatest city I've ever been to in my life. Copenhagen, it's beautiful as well as friendly. Everyone speaks English. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. And
nice.
everyone told us, yeah, well, last year summer was a Tuesday. And so they were like, yeah, enjoy the weather while you get a chance, because it's normally raining a whole lot more, this and that, whatever. So there was that. Got to explore the city a little bit before heading down to Lebu, Germany, and down to Jutland of Germany, and went and visited the U-boat that was there, which that was pretty amazing. The cool thing about the U-boat was, I mean, it's a freaking U-boat, U-995, I think is what it was. It had sunk 5 or 6 ships during World War II.
Wow.
But honestly, as cool as that was, the actual most interesting, I think, or most impactful part of that visit was there is a maritime museum and memorial there that is a really, really tall structure that was built after World War I to pay homage and pay respects to all the German sailors that lost their lives in World War I. Well, after World War II, they kind of rededicated it to a kind of a peace museum and to dedicate to the sailors lost their lives from all nationalities. And the really amazing part of this was when you walk into this structure, and I call it a structure, but it almost kind of looks like a ski ramp. Kind of, if you were to picture the actual structure of a ski ramp, it's not quite as jumpy at the end, but it's kind of that shape. That's the best way to describe it.
Okay.
You walk into it, and there's this amazing wood carving of the eagle from, the German eagle. I don't know what the name is, but there's a huge one of those. And then there are books, or I don't know what they're called, but they're books with the names of all the sailors that died. That
like
are
a memoriam thing?
Yeah. And there's a bunch of those. But then when you go into the main room in this structure, when you walk in, on the left wall, into the stone are etched all of the ships, zeppelins, and planes that the Germans lost, that were lost during World War I. And the wall is just covered in these etchings. And I took a bunch of pictures of those. But then when you turn around, the other wall is the World War II one. And there's just no space in between any of the ships and U-boats and all. It's just, it really puts in perspective just the sheer number of ships and subs that were lost. And it was just,
wow.
You're just looking at this wall, and it's just carving upon carving upon carving upon carving. And it really kind of hits home just the sheer loss of life that represents. Because, I mean, for each of these boats, I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands of people on
Yeah,
board,
yeah,
depending on
yeah.
the size of the ship. And it's just, when you stop and look at it, you're like, holy shit. When you, I forget who said it, but it might have been Churchill, it might have been somebody else, that that one death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. And, as these numbers get bigger, you just kind of lose context
Yes.
to what these are. And you're looking at this wall of all these carvings that represent all these ships, and you're just like, oh my God. Just, it was unbelievable.
Overwhelming.
Truly unbelievable. Yeah, exactly. And then in the next room, it had different insignias for various ships, not all the ships because there's just not enough room, but of various ships that were lost at sea, one of which was the Bismarck, which was
wow.
really kind of cool to see because it's the
Bismarck.
So that was cool. And then there's a German naval museum that had scale models of various ships throughout the history, going back to the 19th century all the way up to current modern ships for the German Navy. But it also included, I don't know what scale it was, but a very accurate model of the Bismarck.
Oh, wow.
And seeing this enormous battleship there. And what really struck me about this was, here we are in Germany. Germany is very anti-nationalism, et cetera, after World War II. And the Nazi flag is forbidden. Any Nazi insignias, whatever, are forbidden in Germany. Yet here it is in a museum, the Bismarck, and it's got the Nazi flags on the Bismarck. Because, I mean,
that's what it was.
That was Hitler's biggest propaganda ship. Like, look at this amazing battleship that we had made. And just kind of seeing that, and I was just like, my God. And just seeing the enormous size of how big this was, that is staggering. And this was just a model.
Yeah,
it was probably 12, 15 feet long, enclosed in glass and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
It was
like,
amazing.
It's enormous, but it's also to scale. So that means that it's not, it was a magnitude of whatever bigger than that. That's
right. Well, not just that, but all the other models are to the same scale. And so when you look at these other ships compared to this Bismarck and compared to the battleship, it was just,
that's awesome.
Staggering.
That's awesome.
So that was in Lübeck, Germany. And then drove up from, so we took the ferry across from southern Denmark. I guess that would be kind of southeast of Denmark, across the channel there into Germany, and then drove up around via land, going up to eventually making it to Sweden. And one interesting thing about that was we were on the highway. Now, I don't know if it was technically the Autobahn, because there was a posted speed limit of 110 kilometers.
Okay.
I was doing 150 to 155 kilometers.
Of course you were.
And getting past like it was my job.
Wow.
And I mean, not past, but getting flown by.
Wow.
By some cars. And so I did the math. And by doing the math, I mean, after the fact, I plugged it into a converter. And basically, I was doing about 115 on the highway. And these cars were blowing past me like we were just standing still. It was
crazy.
Amazing to see these speeds.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. But, one other thing I forgot to mention. Before we left Copenhagen to head down to Lübeck, we actually had a impromptu meetup at Bastard Cafe in Copenhagen. Now, I can't speak to other local game stores or board game cafes around the country here in the U.S., but this was the most impressive board game cafe I've ever seen in my life.
Really? Wow.
It was enormous. I'm trying to think of, maybe it had 40, maybe 50 tables in there total. And I mean, games, if you can think of it, they probably had it. They had stuff as new as like John Company. I saw PAX Renaissance. I saw Nick Case wanted me to see if they had a copy of NIMBY. They did. But they also had Monopoly. They had Rummy Cube. They had Scrabble.
Cool.
They had all this stuff. But it ran the gamut. And there were just shelves upon shelves upon shelves across the entire cafe. And it just felt like just a cool place to hang out. They had couches, they had chairs around tables, and when we were there, that was on what day of the week? Let me think. That was on a Tuesday night, I believe it was. It was packed.
That's awesome.
And it really was. They serve drinks, they serve beer, they serve food. They have teachers. Everything is in English. They have an app that you can check and see if they have a game. If so, you can check it out. You can also order food on the app.
This place sounds absolutely amazing.
It really, really was.
Wow.
It was really impressive. So well done, Bastard Cafe. We met up with Oscar Grenelud and Daniel Peterson, as well as Dan from Nonsensical Gamers, who recently moved to Copenhagen, and Daniel and Oscar both live and are from Copenhagen, and they were getting ready to leave in a few days to head to Hamburg, Germany, because Panic Mansion, one of their games, was up for the Kinderspiel des Jahres, and they were super nervous.
I bet. I can only imagine. Oh my
how
goodness.
Can you not be, right?
Right?
So while we were there, when in Rome, so we played Panic Mansion. We had a blast playing it. It was pretty cool to sit and play that with the fellas. It's silly, goofy fun, but everybody was having a good time.
Good.
Funny thing, when the cafe closes, they play Let It Go at increasingly louder volume as the song goes along, to just let it go. You can come back.
That's fantastic.
You ain't got to go home, but you do got to get the hell up out of here at midnight. It was hysterical.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So after that, we headed out, and we were going to go get a burger, but they were closed. So we went to the place where there are more of these than anywhere else, it seems. But there was a kebab joint, so went and had kebabs, or in this case, had some pitas. With kebab meat, and hung out, and it was pretty amazing that here it is 1 a.m. and people are out just biking down the street in Copenhagen, because that's what you do. It was really cool. So that was a really cool experience. Like I said, then drove around, headed up to Sweden. Oscar warned us not to speed in Sweden because they have cameras everywhere, and we drove. So I did the speed limit all the way up to Växjö, which is where Matthias Andersson, or Space Monkey, where the contest winner for the Heavy Cardboard Game Day Around the World was. We made it up to Växjö, and I did see that they have to announce where every camera is. So I was like, wait a minute. So you tell people where the cameras are?
That doesn't.
Why was I?
It's counterintuitive. It seems like.
So yeah, the trip back was a lot quicker than the trip there. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, we got up to Växjö, met up with Matthias, and the original plan was to go have a meetup at a bar. Well, that didn't happen. Instead, they thought, you know what? The weather is beautiful. It's summer. Let's show what we do during summer. And there are a ton of lakes up in Sweden, up in this part of Sweden. And so I think there were 5 around Växjö. And so we went to the grocery store to get some stuff to grill, and then it was a whole bunch of folks, and I'm not going to mention names because I'm going to butcher it, but there were about a dozen of us or so out there, that both listeners and viewers of the show and patrons, as well as just friends of theirs. And we went out there at the lake and had a barbecue, and that was unbelievable. That was phenomenal.
And that was on your birthday, right?
That was on Friday. That was a heck of a cool way to spend it. We FaceTime with you to include you in that. So there was that, and then Emmy, one of the folks there, she brought her slackline. And I attempted to slackline, which, if you're not familiar with slacklining, it's basically a cargo strap between 2 trees that you have to try and stand on and walk. And That's really, really hard. Just really hard.
I bet.
So we did that.
It sounds hard.
It was. And then after that, went and had some drinks. Matthias had gotten some local gin and some moonshine and some other local spirits. And so we had some drinks and then called it a night. And then there was game day around the world the next day. So once a month, they rent kind of a like a rec room for one of their group's apartment complexes. It's this rec room that had 1, 2, 3, 4, I think like 5 tables in it. Had a little kitchenette and everything. They rent it once a month, and they have folks down. There were about, 15 to 18 of us throughout the day. Folks playing games and just hanging out and having and doing what it is that we do, which is play games and enjoy each other's company. Played Raw, played some smaller games. I forgot how much I really enjoyed Raw. But yeah, just had a blast doing that. And while there, I was like, you know what? I figure you guys kind of want to hear about the Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world. So I went ahead and sat down and interviewed Matthias and then Magnus, Peter, Johan, and Dennis, folks that both were there. They're all listeners or viewers of the show, many of which, if not all of which, are patrons. And figure, you know what? Why don't they tell you what this is about and what the gaming scene is like up there in Sweden? Everything from up in Stockholm as well as in Växjö. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. And in fact, well, you guys are going to hear all those. That's what this episode's about.
That is correct.
Then after that, drove back to Copenhagen and spent a day. We had a kind of an official meetup there for a few hours, and we had a handful of folks show up and hung out, played games that evening, took pictures, and then realized how expensive hotel rooms were that night. They were $300 plus for a hotel room. If we didn't want to stay in a hostel, and decided, you know what, we're flying out in the morning. Nope, not going to do it. So we found a park, parked in the park, slept in the car, went to the airport, flew, and here we are at Origins.
Yeah, it's better. So, I would think it's better to sleep in a car than to sleep on the airport floor, which we have also done. And a car sounds much more comfortable than an airport floor to me.
It was warmer,
I bet,
and softer, for sure. Mm-hmm. So there's that. But yeah, ended up getting about 4 hours sleep in the car, then traveled for 20 plus hours. I was really happy to take a shower last night.
I can only imagine.
But yeah, so ended up getting 5 episodes worth of content recorded, a whole bunch of other interviews, and now that I'm here at Origins, going to be daily diaries out the wazoo, and yeah, and play it by ear. So
yay!
Yes, I guess it's been somewhat of a European vacation.
It's a working vacation.
5 episodes is a lot of content, I feel like.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So, and you've been killing it with the live streams back there and getting everything edited.
I have to try to keep up with you.
Oh, stop. Whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just I haven't been, other than, holding down the fort here at HCHQ, I have been just kind of trying to keep it even keeled and keep it kind of low. I felt myself starting to possibly get a little run down, so I'm really taking it easy this week. Decided to just do a couple live streams, not have anything on the weekend, and just have some downtime. So
no, I think that's how it should be. I mean, You're still doing 2 live streams. You did Forged and Sealed last night.
I did, and then Matt and I are going to do Ortus Regni tonight as you're listening to this. And then
cool.
And then I'm done for the week. So then get to start figuring out what I'm going to do next week. But
yeah, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's before I left, you and I had talked about, how many do you think we should be doing? And we said, 1, maybe 2, and you've been going above and beyond over that. So I think you've been doing a great job. So, but at the same time, make sure you don't burn out. That's the big thing, right?
Yeah, that's what a lot of patrons in Slack were worried about, was me burning out. But I don't feel like I'm going to burn out. It's more just being tired because, I'm working 2 full-time jobs. So right, y'all, there's a number of ways you can support Heavy Cardboard. The support that you provide helps keep the show going and growing, and if that's something you'd like to do, go check out all the ways you can support us and the show over at pledgehc.com. For those of us that weren't at the Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world in what is it? Växjö?
Växjö.
That is not at all what it looks like, but okay.
I know. I understand that. I had that discussion with them while there, and they were like, "No, that's exactly what it looks like." And I'm like, "Yeah, if you speak Swedish."
Okay, weirdos. Whatever.
The biggest question that we got while over there was, "Do we sound like the Swedish chef?"
Herpa derpa derpa. No.
And I was like, there have been a couple folks on the radio that absolutely do, but otherwise that's just a really poor stereotype.
That's awesome. All right, well, you guys are going to get to decide for yourselves whether these 5 people sound like the Swedish chef or not. Edward interviewed 5 attendees of the Game Day around the world while he was there, and you guys are going to get to listen to him now.
Enjoy, y'all. 11:15 at the Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world, and joined by the Magnus Felt here in Sweden. So Magnus, thanks for helping put all this on. So
thank you for coming. It's been really nice.
It's been an amazing time. So you do in the guild, you do the quarterly, I guess it is,
about
top 50 for the guild, the top 50 list in that.
Yeah.
What made you decide to start doing that?
I also have something for numbers. I like statistics. I record all my plays. I don't do the scores and stuff, but I like see what games I play. And then there was someone who did the top 50 in the guild before, and he stopped doing it. So I think I can program. So. It wasn't that hard to do the little programs to read.
Well, I appreciate it. I know a lot of other people in the guild really appreciate it. So thanks for doing that. It's cool to see the evolution of how games move up and down as the guild grows, but also just kind of what's in fashion and what people are really enjoying and rate highly.
Yeah, it's cost me a lot of money as well because I bought really a lot of those games. Because I want them all, so I'm a collector.
You know, I have a bit of that in me as well, so there's that. So the Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world. So Matthias won it.
Yeah.
And you're a part of, the game group that's here in Växjö.
Yeah. There are more groups, but I think we are the heaviest group. We play the most heavy game, at least. So it's medium to heavy. It's right up.
It's basically the Heavy Cardboard in Sweden, right?
It's right up your alley. I would say,
so how many of y'all are there, give or take, or so?
We are a solid group of 6 or 7 that are always here. Then 10, 15 people, I think. In the group there are 90 people, but none never come to the game.
It sounds a lot like my group back in Colorado, so I can relate to that.
Yeah.
But recently you guys were talking that you've been on the serious 18xx kick.
Yeah, I've been on a mission. I think me and Matthias are the hardest promoters of 18xx here in Sweden as it is now. I think our group is the group that played most 18xx in Sweden, I think. I think. Not everyone have internet, so you don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you've been playing. I know Matthias told me lately 18 USA, but also 1846, 1822.
Yeah, we played 44, 54, 80. 80 I really liked. It was strange. Strange timing on that game, but I loved it. I think it's his best game, Lonnie's.
And what are you guys have talked about that you've pounded out some serious number of plays on some of the titles?
Yeah, 46 I think because we started with 46, so we playing 18 or 19 times I think now. So I think 22 is I think the second we are 8 times I think we played 22 now.
Nice. So
I'm looking forward to 1822 CA a lot.
you guys have the same affliction that we do, to where you're like, ooh, shiny, I want to try some of the newest, and at the same time you want to get proficient at some of the games that you have under your belt.
We actually had a rule when we started 18xx before, because everybody went after the first 5 games of 46. Everybody went on a frenzy to just collect all the games. So we got like 20 games within 3 months of. So we had a rule. We have to play one game at least 5 times before we introduce a new 18xx in the rotation. But
I think that's awesome. Now I realize that any hardcore 18xxers would be like only 5, really, but then again, I mean, as you know, just as gamers in general, there's so much churn and burn as far as the latest hotness, want to go try this.
We are a little bit cult of new. I think we can say that, but we're trying, but sometimes we fail.
It happens. It happens. So so other than 18xx games, what other games are you guys enjoying lately?
I think the heavier games like Lisboa, Arkwright, but is one of the you like new shiny games like Castel, Santa Maria, stuff like the medium.
So medium and heavy, right?
Yeah. So because it's who play with. I play a lot with my girlfriend, so.
And you were saying she's not super keen on auctions?
No, no. But she loved the medium stuff. So Grand Austria, we played it like 30 times. Seasons is one of our absolute favorite, over 30 times as well. So never gets old.
Nice. Yeah. So is almost all your gaming then here in Växjö is with, whether it's with Matthias or with your girlfriend, or what?
My girlfriend lives in Södertälje in. Almost in Stockholm, but yeah.
That's quite that's quite
the train.
Quite the hike.
Right, there are lots of trains. So.
Yeah, I reckon so. Right.
So.
Nice. So I appreciate that you helped do all of this. Whether that's the barbecue last night or the game day today, it's been this has been an amazing experience.
Yeah, you have to expose everybody to the games. We love games here, so.
And it's awesome. I mean, you have the lakes out here. Tomorrow we're going to check out the ruins of Fortress / Castle. Go play some crokinole.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't wait. This has been an amazing experience. So appreciate your guys' hospitality being out here.
It was so much fun for it to come. So it's good. We had a really good weather as well. So
shockingly warm. You guys were saying, right?
It's not always in Sweden.
But Matthias said it was going to be amazing weather because just wait till June, and maybe he got lucky. But hey, whatever.
I
right?
think we say that.
All right. So Magnus, I really appreciate it. I appreciate the help with the guild. Appreciate the support, and maybe we'll hopefully see you at Essen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world, still here in Växjö, Sweden. It requires conscious thought to try and pronounce that because that's not at all how it's spelled here to us, but happy to be joined by the most Viking-looking Swede that I have encountered so far, and we have met each other a number of times, Johan Ek.
Yeah.
Right?
Johan Ek.
All right, so thanks for sitting down.
Thank you.
So tell me about your part of the game group here in Växjö, right?
My role in this is maybe not so big. I'm not involved in the booking or the planning of it. I just come every time and bring the games, of course. We have been doing this for almost 2 years now. I gave it its name. We call it Spelfrossa. It means game froth, I think.
Nice.
The idea came from that our group was feeling that we didn't get to play enough. So we wanted to froth in games. To play a whole day of just games, nothing else. Then some necessary food maybe, but... So now we have that one time a month. It's open. We take 3-4 euros for coffee, for rent, and for mineral water.
Okay, so everybody chips in a few euros, and it all chips in for where we are right now, right?
Yeah.
So this it's kind of like a common area for the apartment complex. Is that kind of a good way to describe it? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 tables in here. There's a fridge. There's a coffee machine. There's all this stuff. A nice little sitting area in the whole 9 yards, and that's where we had it today. And everybody takes care of it. It seems, everybody chips in.
Yeah,
both.
We clean as soon as we leave. It may be maybe around 2 at night is our usual time to leave, and then we vacuum and clean it off.
Leave it better than what you found it, right?
Yeah.
And ironically, that's kind of how it seems. It's how you guys, and by you guys, I mean the Swedes in general. It seems that's how you guys just are. That was how we were when we went last night, when we went out for dinner. And I say out for dinner, but when we all went out to the barbecue last night, everyone made sure to pick up after themselves, make sure everything was clean, and it was amazing out there. And thanks you and your lovely wife Parisa coming out and hanging out with us. That was amazing. I realize that's called a Friday to you guys. I get that. But for us, that was an amazing welcome to Sweden. That was fantastic.
It was to show the Sweden summer part of life is very outdoors. We try to, because half the year is dark and depressive here. So half the year we cannot be outside. So the other half we try to be outside 24/7.
And you know what? It worked well. And then after halfway through gaming today, we took off and had a group meal on a couple different tables at a local restaurant. And I mean, it felt like the community that kind of has grown up around the show, and that's exactly what it felt like here, and it's been an amazing experience for us.
It has been equally amazing for us to have you. So.
Well, I appreciate it. So, and then last night after the barbecue, we sat around and talked life and just hung out as friends, which is some of the best times that this hobby offers, I think, even outside of the gaming, just getting to know people and becoming friends and getting to know different ways of life, different cultures, so on and so forth. So, So how did you get into gaming in general here?
There was a game group at my university, so I was curious. I knew that I was going to like it because I have played a lot of computer games and games in general, like puzzles or hidden stuff or whatever, like problems to solve, always interested me. So I went there, played one game of Werewolf, had some fun, then straight to Terra Mystica the same night.
Yeah. So you told me the story. Tell folks the story of you getting your feet wet with Terra Mystica.
Yeah. My Terra Mystica was my gateway game, and that's why I try to always not expect that people can't handle very heavy rules or whatever for their first game, because I think that within teaching they call it +1. It's a proximal developing level of learning that you should always be one step above to challenge yourself, and that process will also keep you interested in the game. I mean, if you give a very light gateway game to a person their first time, it will seem unimportant or whatever, because it's just this small thing that is easily handled. But if it's just enough for the person to grab a hold on, and they think, how the fuck should I maneuver this? But in the end of the game, they can. Then it will be a better experience,
more rewarding for them, right?
Yeah.
And so you literally bought a copy of Terra Mystica and tried to learn it from the rule book at the very beginning.
Yeah, I did. So And I think it's just games. People should not be afraid. It's just games. People do amazing things. They educate themselves to be whatever for years and years. They learn hard things. They learn to surf or whatever. A game is a couple of sheets of paper and 2 hours of activity. Everybody in the world can learn that.
I like your mentality. I like that. And you're a teacher by trade anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. You come about it honestly. So you've been infected by the 18XX bug here with the fellas as well, have you not?
Yeah. We last year we got over 30 plays, over 40 for some of us. So I think we...
of various 18XXs, right?
Yes, of amongst 15, 20 titles, I guess. So we are very blessed here, having a very dedicated game group that takes time off. In Sundays and even in weekdays, we play the a little bit shorter ones, the 4 or 5 hour games that you can do in a weekday. If everybody just buy some easy food, get to the place after your work and go through the rules, be focused, turn off your phone, and then play it, you can be done at 9.
Nice. And so what's been your latest needle in the arm game?
18 USA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys seem addicted to that. I'm not gonna lie. Between you, Magnus, Matthias, that's all I heard about last night.
1822 was my favorite game before, but I think 18 USA pushed it down a spot.
Okay, well,
Right.
good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah, it's minor degrees, whatever. They are amazing games, both of them. So
what is it about 18XX that drives you, that interests you so much, Johan?
the freedom of action. It's not guided or steered in a direction like in Euro games. I don't want to talk bad about Euro games because I love them too, but usually they have a spot for you that tells you, so now we are in this phase, you can either do this or this, or you can buy stuff. Look at this 7 objects, buy 1. 18XX games have a wider place to play in. You can maneuver the system as you like.
Or as they like against you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's economical warfare.
I think that's a really good way to put it. So yeah, so that's that seems to be the latest here in Växjö.
Yeah, in Växjö.
Växjö. I will. It's a lost cause, but I try. All right, guys, I try. So yeah, so thanks a lot for being a part of this, man. I appreciate it. I realize that you say you're not one of the organizers, you're not, but you were here for the barbecue last night, you and Parisa, and the fact that you guys, stayed the day here with us, and even though Parisa's getting mauled by mosquitoes, she's been a trooper, and you guys left and came back, so I appreciate it, man. This has been a truly one-of-a-kind experience. And if this is... You guys are setting the bar awfully high for what it is that we're... I don't know, maybe what to expect here at these Heavy Cardboard Game Days around the world. So thanks for being amazing hosts and showing off your city and showing off how awesome... Well, how often you Swedes are, or how awesome you guys are. And you make some fine gin here in Sweden.
From the heart, thank you.
Thank you, Johan, and to your wife, Parisa. So thanks a lot, guys. All right, and thanks for taking a minute to sit down, man. This has been cool.
Of course.
All right, we'll see you at. Are you guys hitting Essen this year? Do you know?
Yes, me, Magnus, Martijn, and Matthias.
All right, cool. We'll see you at Essen then, fellas. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, it's Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world continued. One of the herd members decided to sit down with me. So Dennis Lind from here in Sweden, yeah?
Yes, from Sweden.
Well, what part?
I'm from Helsingborg, but I live in Kristianstad.
Where is that?
It's on the southern part of Sweden, but above Lund.
Okay, all right. So in between Lund and
Växjö, we are right now.
Växjö, right? All right. So how do you know these guys?
They talked about 18xx in a big Facebook group, and that's the way I know them.
Okay,
Because,
what's the Facebook group?
Konrad Drago recenserar. It's
Obviously,
it's a
yes.
YouTube Swedish YouTube channel that has
Okay.
a lot of board gaming people in it.
Oh,
And-
okay, cool.
And Magnus, that's here, it started an 18xx Facebook group, and from there we played some 18xx.
Nice. So, do you are you part of their immediate group that you come up every so often?
No, sometimes. I don't get to play 18xx at home in my city, so every chance I get, I want to play it.
So is
It's in the veins.
Yeah, I hear that happens. So is the reason you don't get to play it at home 'cause just no train gamers there, or what?
No train gamers, and a little bit omni gamers that likes quality in the stuff, and they're like a bit skeptic about trying it. And we play more heavy games, but not. It must look nice. So Vinhos does great. Watch the Game does great.
But
everything
the
Lacerda.
more utilitarian.
Yeah, that like an infamous traffic is mocked constantly.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So you're one of our patrons. You decided to make the trip up here. Yeah. So how's it been so far today?
It's good. I got what I came for, and that's
Which was?
18xx.
So you guys busted out 1889 today. How'd that go?
I won, so it's okay.
Yeah, but come on. It's not just about the winning, though.
No.
Yeah, right?
It was really fun. We talked about it in the car to the dinner. It was really nice. It's such a bare game for what it is.
What do you mean by
It's
that?
essential. It's the essential bare minimum 18xx, and I felt it had good depth for what it was. It wasn't any extra MacGuffins or anything, but I really felt it was encapsulating the whole experience in 3 hours.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's exactly why we say 1889 is one of the good starter 18xx's. How many times have you played 89?
That's my first time 89.
Okay, all right.
So it was nice. I liked it more than my usual beginner. So I think I'm gonna print and play it and force my game group to try that one also.
Okay. What 18xx's do you are some of your favorites, or what do you prefer playing?
1822.
Oh, excellent choice. All right. Do you have a copy?
Yes.
All right.
In the mail.
Nice. All right. Good deal. Cool. Yeah. So how often do you guys get together? Then do you get a chance to get up here?
This is my second time here and the third time playing with them.
Okay. Do these guys ever make the effort to come down to you?
No.
What's up with that, Matthias? Magnus, what's up with that?
No, but we have a good setup in Kristianstad. Me and 5 friends are renting a big basement, and we just say, come and play games in our basement we're renting. And
so do you rent it just for the
Yes,
gaming
we-
time, or is it like
we
you-
rent 300 euros and split
Okay.
the rent
Okay.
with members fees and us.
So it's all the time you rent
Yeah,
it? or-
yeah. So you can go there and play 7 days a week if you want to, and we give all of us have our collection there. So just good amount of games, I can say. I don't want to say a number because
Yeah, that's fine. So you guys have basically it's a private gaming club.
yeah.
Do you open this up to?
Yeah, it's open every Wednesday for whoever wants to come, and then it's basically whenever people feel like playing, just come and we find a key and open it up and just take care of the things, and you can play whatever you want.
Oh, that's awesome. So how like when you open it up on a Wednesday, how often, like how many people show up, would you say?
Between 15 maybe, around 15.
Oh, that's
Our
pretty good.
maximum I think it was 30.
How big of a town is it that you live in then?
It's not that big. It's like the central is like 20 or 30,000.
Oh, that's pretty solid. And the fact that you get between 15 and 30 in there on a weekly basis, then is it all heavy games or what kind of games?
The most players there are Omni gamers, so but we got our fair shares of heavy games. Like I said before, What's Your Game is popular with some, and we have extremely a lot of Kickstarter games. And
I don't think you're alone in that. Though.
No,
I think that's a worldwide affliction.
I'm not the bandit in this, but I know we have people that have the board games there have over 200 Kickstarted games delivered.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you get a chance to try a bunch of games, but you got the needle in your arm for 18xx.
Yeah.
So all 18xx all the time?
Yeah. I try to play some online and whenever I can. And yeah, I don't know what else to do. I want the stabbiness, I want the meanness, and I want a fair game that's fun and economical. And it's hard to get a good game like that from somewhere else.
Cool. Good deal. Well, I'm glad you made the trip up here, man. I appreciate it because you and I have met each other previously at Essen.
Yeah.
Is it just once or is it? I think last 2 years we've met up. I think.
No, just last year.
Just last year.
Yeah, at Kalimala. We played Kalimala.
That's what it is. Yeah, with the game with Uli.
Uli, yes.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's what it was. All right. Good deal, man. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming up and hanging out for the day, and you heading back home now.
Yeah. 1.5 hour drive.
All right. Well, drive safe, and I guess I'll see you at Essen.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Cool. Cheers. All right. Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world is wrapping up. Joined by Peter Haraldson.
Yeah, that's okay.
That
works.
You say
it's right. Yeah, it's good.
All right. So, Peter, you came all the way down from Stockholm today.
Yeah, or from Strängnäs, actually.
Which is
just
where?
outside Stockholm. It's,
okay.
It's an hour from Stockholm.
All right. You said it was about a 4-hour train ride?
Yeah, approximately.
Well,
it took a half an hour longer due to delays today, but that happens.
I really appreciate you making the trip, dude. This is really cool.
Not at all. I actually looked forward to it. I was very happy when Matthias invited me.
Cool. Yeah, because when we planned this, I told Matthias, you do what you want. It's your game day. It's your group. It's your town. You know the people. You decide if he would just wanted it to be like just 2 or 3 of us or if he wanted to open this up. Take care, Dennis. And so he decided to basically open it up to the local group as well as fellow Swedes that he knows. So how do you know Matthias?
Actually, I didn't know him at all. We got to know each other through the Slack channel, the Heavy Cardboard Slack. So that's where we first got in contact with each other.
Nice. All right. So it's about, like you said, normally a 4-hour train ride. So you guys, is this something that you're going to be able to do on occasion going forward, or?
Well, as it turns out, we visit the same gaming convention once a year at least in Kalmar. So we will have opportunities to play 18xx there.
Here's another needle in his arm with train games, yeah?
Well, yeah, not every day, but once in a while, definitely.
All right. What's your favorite train game?
I haven't played that many before. I mean, I've been on the Ticket to Ride and that kind of level. So I guess... I guess this is my really first.
Oh, that's right.
Game, so.
89. This was your first 18xx today. So tell me about the experience then.
Well, it was nice. It was not as complicated as I thought, actually. Though it was really hard to really foresee what was going to happen in the end.
Sure.
It was a really ramp up at the end that I wasn't quite prepared for. And I got stuck with kind of lousy trains. But it worked. I finished third, so.
And how many players?
5.
That's really good, considering you finished the game and you didn't have to go watch TV, and also that middle of the pack for a new beginner. So either they took it easy on you, or you got some chops.
I don't think so, but maybe Magnus did one poor choice quite kind of early in the game, so he put himself out of the running.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you said it wasn't as complicated as you expected. Was the gameplay though similar to or what you expected, or was it just a completely new and foreign experience and one that you just found that you liked?
I think I was expecting the whole stock thing to be more opaque, basically. It was kind of in the open, and I kind of got it pretty
clicked.
quickly, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Cool. All right.
That was what I was most afraid of. Then the whole tile part with some tiles disappearing was a little bit of a surprise, but
Restricted tile lay or
Yeah.
restricted tile sets. Yeah, which I've heard that the group here, whether it's Matthias, whether it's Magnus, or whatever, these guys really love that. Whether it's 1830, 1889, et cetera, et cetera.
sounded like it, yes.
Cool. So did you, when you came down here, you were excited to come down and play games, whether it was with me, with Matthias, with Magnus, whatever. Were you hoping to get in a train game or something else?
Well, I knew the opportunity was there, but a 3-hour game was perfect. I didn't want to spend like 5, 6, 7 hours, but 3 hours was perfect to make it a first try.
What's gaming like up north? Well, I say up north. It's
Yeah,
not
that's okay.
way up north, but in the Stockholm area where you game, what's your game group like? What's the gaming like up there?
Yeah, actually, I run a game group myself. So here comes the plug. I have a game group called Holy Dice, and you're gonna have this beautiful cup with you
Oh, awesome!
to bring
yeah,
home.
so it's
to drink some tea in.
Yes, it's a white coffee cup or a tea mug,
Yeah.
and it says Holy Dice, so it's white with an orange logo
Yep.
and orange on the inside. That's awesome, man. Thank you
And
so
that's-
much.
I'm part of a Pentecostal church up there, so we have a game group in our church. Been running for about 4 years and have like around 10 people every week, every Sunday. So I'm actually going there tomorrow. That's why I leave early tomorrow to be able to run that tomorrow. And those are teenagers mostly, and then a couple of adults that play all kinds of games. Not that heavy usually, but all kinds. We have a tendency to like betrayer games of sorts. And then every week almost I have a group with dudes, basically. We are usually 4 guys in my age that play a little heavier games. It's been Terra Mystica, Gaia Project, the Inca Temple game.
Zolkin.
Zolkin, right.
Yep.
Yeah. But also occasionally games like Rising Sun or things like that to mix it up. So pretty much an omni-gamer.
Okay.
And then I have 2 kids that love to play games as well. I don't know where they got that from, but
No idea. No.
and they are at the age that they beat me regularly.
That's awesome, raising them right
Yeah.
there. So that's cool to see. Are there any game stores or local game cafes or anything like that up in Stockholm or in that area? I
Yeah,
should say?
in Stockholm there are at least one game cafe going as a game cafe. Then there are another couple of coffee houses that have game nights, some pubs that have game nights, and then there are clubs, a number of clubs actually. One that throws conventions once a year, so you can go there and play games and have fun. So,
Sounds like it's pretty rocking gaming scene up there in the Stockholm area. Then.
yeah, there are quite a lot of gamers, though they usually kind of keep to their part of the town, so it depends a little. Me that comes from outside, I can choose whichever I go to.
Gotcha. All right. Very cool. Well, was game day what you were hoping for then down here today?
Absolutely. I've played nothing but new games today, so it's been very fun.
What was the highlight other than 89?
I actually like the Incopolis that we played right now. It was interesting mechanics in that game that I really liked.
And a good mix of stuff. I
Yeah,
found
very-
I played it for the first time at HeavyCon a
Yep.
couple of weeks ago and found that I really, really liked it as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard rumors of there people in the works trying to get a reprint of it, and we'll see if that ever comes to pass. But because I know it's really hard to get right now, but you know, of course, we're talking about it on the show, which means it's got to be hard to get. So you're heading back tonight or tomorrow morning? You
Tomorrow
said?
morning,
Okay, cool.
early start.
All right. Well, I appreciate you making the 4-hour train ride down here, man. That's
Not at all.
awesome. That's really cool. That both that Matthias was able to pull this off, as well as that people were willing to come down. So I definitely appreciate it, Peter. Thanks.
I actually had to jump at the chance when I heard you coming here. I mean, how many times will that happen? So
well, there's so many Scandinavian patrons. I would say there's a fair chance, but nonetheless, the point
this was
remains.
pretty close, though. So.
Yeah, I really
mean, it's not
appreciate
Norway
it.
or Denmark. It's still in Sweden. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, man. We'll have a safe trip home, and hope to stay in touch with you going forward.
Thank you, and I hope so too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so here we are at the first Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world, and I'm going to butcher it. I always do. Växjö.
It's getting better.
All right, I'm trying. Växjö, Sweden. Here with Space Monkey because his parents didn't like him. No, seriously. Matthias Andersson.
Yep.
Here in Växjö. You were the first drawing winner, so congratulations.
Very happy to be the first one.
Yeah, I'm happy you're the first one as well. So the original plan was to come out here maybe around Liriakan in February, or end of February, beginning of March. And you didn't think that was such a hot idea?
No, I remember typing you saying, probably if we can find some other time, it's nicer coming in summer here in Sweden, not having to deal with all the darkness.
Right, yeah, because, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But so we decided to do it around the time for UK Games Expo, and unfortunately in between then and now, Amanda's work schedule changed, so she wasn't able to make it here in spirit with us. But that said, we got in. So we've been traveling around, kind of not really killing time, but, exploring some stuff. And we got in here on Friday, June 8th, which was my birthday.
Yep.
And you guys, I thought we were just going to go to the bar for a meetup. You guys had something completely different in mind.
That was our first plan, taking you to a bar. But then we saw the weather forecast being nice for a very long time, so we thought it's much nicer being out on a public barbecue place. So we went on Friday evening out to a place by the local lakes. Very nice view.
And what was the lake name?
It's the northern and southern lake Bergunda.
And there's a reason I had you pronounce that than me. Yeah, not good. So we actually went to a grocery store. We got a whole bunch of provisions for the barbecue and met up with a whole bunch of local elephants and your game group, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, yes. And not my game group. Our game group. Yeah, it's not my game group.
Fair enough. But you guys, when we were talking last night, you said a fair number of you guys had gotten bit by the 18XX bug.
Absolutely. I would say that for some of us guys, that's the main focus right now. Playing an 18XX game once every other week makes me a very happy gamer.
What's been the game of late, or the one that's been most popular? 18
USA is the latest one, and it's very good. I really like the variable setup, but I'm still will enjoy 1817, so it hasn't replaced it in any way. I will mix those two.
Nice, and I muled over 1822 CA.
Super happy about that. Thanks to Simon and Scott for making it possible, giving it to me.
Yeah, and so last night we had the barbecue, had amazing food. We all grilled vegetables, bunch of different meats, and local sausage.
A local sausage called Isterband. Different spices. It can differ quite much between different cities hereabout.
And you guys were like, yeah, don't worry if you don't like it. Yeah. That was delicious. It was really good. And in fact, Magnus, one of the guys, suggested he had a beet salad and suggested having beets with it. It was fantastic. Really good food. Yeah. And then for dessert, this seems like such a stupid, simple thing, but you guys...
We... have this, I wouldn't call it tradition, but it's a common thing. We tinfoil, aluminum foil, a banana, and we cut a banana and we stuff it full with chocolate.
With the peel on, the whole 9 yards.
Wrap it in foil and throw it on the grill.
Yeah.
right on the coal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And comes out, the chocolate's melted in the middle of the banana. You scoop it out with a spoon and pure heaven. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. And then Emmy had her slackline out there. Emmy, come to find out, is a really good slackliner. The rest of us attempted to slackline. The rest of us did not slackline. We fell a lot,
Yeah.
but tried. Have a new appreciation for my lack of balance. I thought we had good balance.
I thought I had basic balance.
For sure. So we did that until, I would say sundown, but so here it's still taking some getting used to, for the simple fact that it was, last night it was after 10 o'clock and it was still relatively light out, and still, that's really late.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that. And
Yeah.
then in fact it was 2 a.m. and we could still see, it looked like, the hour right before, as dawn is starting to come up, it looked like that in the middle of the night. And so, and we're not even that far north.
No. Further up north, there is above the polar circle, the sun never sets.
Right.
So I haven't been that far up, so I haven't experienced that myself. But it's I like the long dusks and long dawns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's amazing here. The only downside with all these lakes here, though, are the mosquitoes. But it's not as bad as it is up north. You were telling us, right?
No, up north, it can be a serious problem actually locally at some places where people can't really go outside.
Which you were talking about how they almost have to tarp down their whole house, right?
Yeah, they board it up and can't go out. But that's not like year around.
Yeah. Only
for,
at the height, and only at certain times and everything else. But so after the barbecue, we then headed back to your apartment.
Yes,
and enjoyed local Swedish adult beverages.
Yep.
And you had picked up some local Swedish or artisanal gin.
Yes.
Which was awfully tasty.
First time trying it myself, and
what'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest gin fan maybe, but I like it. A gin and tonic is always good.
All right. Yeah. And we had picked up some watermelon juice and separately some, was it lingonberry?
Not only. I don't remember. It was like it was a local berry,
right?
I believe. Not local, is a Swedish berry.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's something akin to a cranberry, but not quite. Yeah. And so mix that with the gin. That was awesome. And who all was there last night?
It was me, of course, you and Jess, Magnus, and Johan and his wife. Parisa.
Yep. And we just were talking everything from Swedish politics to American politics to board games to the Heavy Cardboard Slack channel. To
trying to get some insider information about the board game industry.
Right. Yeah. And they gave you some behind the scenes stuff as well. But unfortunately, I didn't have a ton of secrets to share. So there's that.
But inside knowledge, like giving us an understanding of your work and maybe the board game industry in a bigger picture.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So that ended up going till, I don't know, almost 2 a.m. or so, thereabouts.
Yeah, something like that.
And then we actually headed over to Emmy's apartment and crashed out there. And then today woke up for the actual Heavy Cardboard Game Day around the world. And I told you when we were planning this, and I say we planning this was you planning it. Hey, we're coming. I told you it could be just, 2 or 3 of us. It could be a whole bunch of us. And, well,
we got a bunch of people here.
Yeah,
I haven't counted, but like
13 or 14 of us?
Something like that.
Yep.
And some people come and some go.
Yeah.
Like that. But we got a local community, a Facebook group. And we arrange once a month a board game day like this one, and hoping people showing up. We are the close-knit group, more active board gamers and then the surrounding members. Yeah.
And we had folks coming basically as far away as Stockholm, which is about a 4-hour train ride.
And we, unfortunately, a number of herd members had to cancel because of work and other things. So very sad about that, but maybe some other time at Essen or some place like that.
Well,
we will meet.
I joke that half of our patrons are from Scandinavia, so it's very well possible that one of you guys wins this again in the future. So they'll get a chance, hopefully, in the future, or if not, like you said, Essen or whatnot. But game day itself, I thought this has been awesome. We've been playing everything from thinky filler type stuff all the way. I saw 1889 getting played. Let's see, we played Ra,
Coal Baron. We tried Menara.
So we got Medina, we got 1889, we got Fantasy Realms, we got Illusions, the Mind, we had Hansa Teutonica, Ra, which I thought I did a lot better at than I actually did. You and I, in a 5-player game, you and I were not so good.
Not close.
But it was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Coal Baron's getting played. It looks like Ginkopolis is getting set up on the table over there. And Raptor got played. Red 7 got played. Guilds of London.
Rising Tide.
Yeah, Rising Tide. And High Society. So a lot of smaller games, but that kind of makes sense so that everybody could kind of mix and match a little bit with what today was. But I would say it's gone really well. And then 6 o'clock or thereabouts, we all took a group break, and we went to
a restaurant in the city called Café Deluxe. Very local, much focused on locally grown vegetables and products. Vegetarian, vegan food, and all that,
as well as legitimate meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
can get a good burger.
Yo, dude, not a good burger. So the beef here was exquisite. It was fantastic. It was well cooked. A whole bunch of us had burgers here, and I would say fries, but they weren't really fries. They were almost like thick potato chips, but homemade. And they were delicious. It was really, really good. Had some more elderberry soda, or elderflower, I guess it is, and that was delicious. And then after that, we all came back and gaming some more. So, overall, I would say it's been an amazing time, to say the least, as opposed to having gone to the bar last night. The barbecue last night was better than I could have hoped for, and I think you guys have been amazing hosts, and it's blown me away about how good this has been.
It's a once in a lifetime thing, so why let's make it good, let's make it fun, let's make it pleasant.
And it's something special, and it absolutely was. And if it's okay, if I can talk about this, because it was my birthday last night, you guys wanted to give me a gift. Yeah. And you had gone through a list of things.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for some time, not knowing Edward, but still not knowing him. I'm not a great gift-buying person. So I thought, buying a game for Edward, no, not really. He can get them, the ones he wants. Maybe I can find out some very special novelty Swedish game I could give him, but couldn't find anyone. Then I thought, buying something typical Swedish, not really. He has to carry it,
and I appreciate that. Thank you.
It felt unnecessary. So in the end, I came up with the idea when I heard. I'm not sure which podcast it was.
I think it was. Yeah, it was one in the last couple. Yeah, I will say that. Yeah,
it was one from Heavycon.
Yeah, the Heavycon recap one. There you go.
And there, Edward and Amanda told the story about the guy sending the geek mail to Edward and Amanda, telling the story about his friend who had gotten cancer a couple of years ago, and what joy and pleasure and relief Heavy Cardboard made for him during his hard times. And sadly he passed away a couple of months ago, and then we thought that we wanted to continue that story, that narrative. So we donated money to the Swedish Cancer Society, which is the leading society here in Sweden researching cancer and those things.
And yeah, that I was blown away by that.
It's a easy present to carrying with you.
Yeah, that really meant a lot to me. I think that was, but that kind of exemplifies exactly the community that's grown up around the show, and that all these people that are here, as well as in the herd in general, kind of represent. And I was really moved and really touched by that. So I really, really appreciate it.
And then we sang for you.
You did.
Swedish birthday song.
Yeah, which got recorded, which may or may not make it into this. But that was awesome. And then afterwards, we had some really rich, really delicious chocolate cake.
Really rich.
Yeah, small pieces,
Yeah.
very small pieces of cake, but was amazing. And yeah, and that's been how this has been going. And then we weren't sure whether or not we were going to head back to Copenhagen on Sunday or Monday. Decided we're going to do it on Monday morning because tomorrow you guys came up with an idea of somewhere to go.
Yeah, we thought we could show some of the local area, and we are going to take a trip out to the old castle. It isn't really a castle; it's more of a fortress. It's a ruin. Called Kronoberg Slottsruin, and they have a nice cafe there where we can sit, maybe bring the crokinole tables, play some, because the weather is supposed to be nice, and
sign me up. Absolutely.
Just sit there talking, playing.
Yeah, i.e. perfect. Yes, I can't think of much of a better way to spend a Sunday. And you said this was from the 15th century, I think this?
I'm not that up to date on the,
sure, but still, it's way
from
older
that,
than my country.
Absolutely.
Let's put it that way. So, yeah, this has been amazing. I think I've enjoyed this as much, if not more, than you have. So, thank you again for winning, if that's a thing, and being an amazing host for us here, and making this a absolutely memorable trip. Couldn't have gone better, in my opinion.
Thank you, Edward, and a pleasure having both of you here.
Yeah,
missing Amanda.
Yes, for sure, and definitely appreciate it, man. So thank you very much. And yeah, I guess gaming's still going on, so let's get back to it, shall we?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, take care, y'all.
Bye.
It was really cool to hear not only about the game day around the world, but also just the gaming scene in general around Sweden. It was really cool to hear just another country's perspective on how they play games and stuff. It's so awesome to hear always.
Obviously, it's got a big 18xx slant to it because of the people involved there, but they also talked about how there's so much, lighter and midweight gaming in general. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I mean, if you look at when we went back on Monday for the meetup at the Baster Cafe in Copenhagen, there wasn't a table to be had. We had to wait for tables to open up to be able to sit and get a table. And that was a Monday. It wasn't a special event. It was a Monday. So that was amazing. Yeah. That was really cool to see. So obviously, board gaming is alive and well, and not getting smaller as things go along, which is wonderful news for everybody. All of us that play games. I think this is only boding well for the way things are going. That was really
awesome.
Cool to see.
Really good to hear. I'm so excited.
All right, y'all. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully you guys enjoy the daily diaries. Don't forget to subscribe to the supplemental RSS feed for Heavy Cardboard if you want those daily diaries going forward. Other than that, I'm Edward.
I'm Amanda.
We'll catch y'all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Later.